Cami and I are here at the McClure Archives and University Museum with our brand new friend, Dr. Amber Clifford. Dr. Clifford, thank you so much for having us. How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. It's very nice to have you here.
Well, we're excited to be here. So just tell everyone, what is the McClure Archives and University Museum?
So the McClure was founded in 1881. It's one of the oldest university museums on this side of the Mississippi River. The university was founded in 1871, so just 10 years after the university opened. Our museum is different than the archives, so the museum has collections from all over the world and all across periods of history, military collections, things from Papua New Guinea to Southern Europe to South America.
So quite literally all over the world.
Quite literally all over the world,
And something
yes.
I think really important to know is, where do all these pieces come from? Like, how do you acquire these?
All of our pieces are donated. We don't purchase anything. So some of it comes from alumni and students, like international students, for instance, will donate things from around the world. Some of it comes from just interested parties who visit the museum or visit the university and donate their collections later. So a variety of stories. Every item has a story.
That's incredible. And this is such a treasure. We've been talking to you for a little while and learning so much about what you have. So just give us a few examples of like some of the older things and even some of the current things that you have on display.
So some of the older things that we have are, for instance, we have a military collection that dates back to 1836, to the war with Mexico. We have one of the largest Bedouin collections on the planet, including a Bedouin tent that dates back to the 1930s, one of the few that dates back that far. We have Guatemalan collections that span 100 years, and pre-Columbian material that's Aztec and Mayan and Incan. So from very old things to quite literally in the archives last week's student newspaper. So the archives stay very current because that's the history of the university, and the museum is constantly collecting new material from all periods and places.
That's really cool. I want to point out something pretty specific. So tell us about some of these quilts behind us, because these are really beautiful to me.
So this is a traveling exhibition called Sacred Threads. It's a quilt exhibition that travels around the United States every summer. This year the theme was religion, spirituality, and grief. So each quilt tells that particular story, each quilt by a different quilter. It also has its own audio tour, so you can come in the museum and you can dial the number on the label, hit the quilt number, and you can hear the artist actually talk about their own work.
Wow. So you have traveling exhibitions that come through.
We do.
Mainly in the summer, is that
Mainly
right?
in the summertime. We like to bring things that we think are much more community-oriented in the summer, like quilts, for example. This is the second or third time I've brought quilts to town. One summer we had the Traveling Vietnam Veterans Wall here in town for the community, and we had about 6,000 people visit the wall in 5 days. So big community events in the summertime. But we also have exhibitions during what we would call the academic year here on campus, which is August to May. And we have 2 or 3 exhibitions during that year as well.
On that note, will students or maybe specific classes from the university actually come in and like do anything with the archives, or like how does that work?
So we're both in a gallery and a research center. So we get students who come for particular exhibitions, entire classes often. We also see high school classes and middle school classes from the region come here. But we also have individual people, individual students, and experts from around the world who come here to do research in a variety of collections. For instance, we have some material from Dale Carnegie, we have some material from Fog Allen. People come to see that stuff too.
Did Carnegie go to school here?
Yes, he did. He rode a mule to school and tied it to a tree outside the administration building when he would come to class.
So you actually have like the original things that he had written.
Yes.
So when you're researching him, I mean, where better place to go than to
go to the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now all the things that you have, I know that you have so much in storage and you can't possibly show it all at once. So how do you rotate all of that?
So our collections come up about every 5 or 6 years, the different collections, because it's best for museum items to rest more than they're on exhibition. So the Guatemala material is coming out in the fall. It's the first time it's been out since about 2014, so it's been on rest for almost 10 years. That's the best for the collections, but we have enough material that we can rotate things that way.
Incredible, and you're a good source for like educators too.
Yes, absolutely. We do a lot of loaning out to classes. We have what are called traveling trunks, literally rolling suitcases with material in it that we can lend out to schools to do programs. So we do a lot of interface with public schools and private schools.
Yeah,
right here
I
in
love
Warrensburg.
that. I know.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Clifford, one last thing. I really want to emphasize that this is not just for students here at the university.
No.
Even though it's located on University of Central Missouri's campus, this is for everyone. So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. And free. Yes, we're free and open to the public year-round. We don't close unless the university is completely shut down. We're here, including the summer. We're free. Everything is free. We don't charge for anything ever at any time. We're an official repository by Department of Defense for World War II and Vietnam, so we have special collections for that and often do programs for those. We're also a Blue Star Museum, which makes us a specialty museum for people who are members of the military and their families to be able to come here for special programs.
Like I said, such a treasure.
Yeah.
How do people find more information?
So we have a website and a Facebook page, but the best way to find us is to go to the Warrensburg, visit warrensburg.org page, where you can find more information about us.
Okay, perfect. McClure Archives and University Museum. You got to come and check it out. Hang out with Dr. Clifford. You don't want to miss it.